I spent $12,000 flying my family in for my medical school. Graduation, they ditched it for a cruise and texted, "Watching you pretend to be a doctor sounds painful." My aunt added, "We'd rather be somewhere worth celebrating." So I mailed them a copy of my degree and photos of their empty VIP seats. 3 hours later, my mom was sobbing on voicemail, but I had already done something they didn't expect. I never asked my family for a dime during medical school. I worked exhausting night shifts as an EMT, lived on ramen, and took out crushing loans just to survive. My family always treated my ambitions like an ongoing joke. To them, I wasn't going to be a real doctor. I was just arrogant, but this was my graduation. The culmination of 8 years of literal blood, sweat, and tears. I wanted them there. I foolishly thought this would be the moment they finally looked at me with respect. So, I spent $12,000 of my own money. I bought 5 first-class tickets, booked a luxury Airbnb near the university, and secured VIP front row seats for the ceremony. I wanted to spoil them. I wanted to share my victory. The morning of graduation, I stood in my regalia, waiting at the venue. The VIP section was filling up with proud parents, holding flowers and smiling. My 5 seats sat completely empty. I called my mom. It went straight to voicemail. I called my sister, nothing. Then my phone buzzed. A text from my mother. "We decided to take a last-minute cruise out of Miami instead. Honestly, watching you pretend to be a doctor sounds painful. Have a good little ceremony." A second message popped up in the family group chat, this one from my aunt. "We'd rather be somewhere worth celebrating. Don't be dramatic." I stood there, surrounded by cheering families, just staring at my screen. I didn't cry. I didn't get angry. Something inside my chest just went completely quiet. The desperate kid seeking their approval finally died, and a totally different man took his place. I walked across that stage. I shook the dean's hand. I took my oath. When the ceremony ended, I walked straight over to the VIP section. I asked an usher to take a picture of me holding my diploma, standing directly behind those 5 empty chairs. I didn't text them back. Silence is so much louder when it's intentional. I knew exactly which luxury hotel they were staying at in Miami before their cruise departed that evening. I immediately printed a copy of my fresh degree and the photo of the empty chairs. I paid a premium courier service to hand deliver the envelope straight to the hotel concierge, marked extremely urgent for my mother. The tracking app notified me when it was placed directly into her hands. 3 hours later, my phone completely blew up. My mom left a frantic, hysterical, sobbing voicemail. "How could you do this to us? You left us with nothing! You're a monster! Please pick up the phone." She was crying. Real panic, desperate tears. But she wasn't crying out of guilt over the photo of the empty chairs. She was crying because of what else I had put in that envelope. See, when they ditched my graduation for a cruise, they forgot one crucial, undeniable detail. I was the one who paid for their entire trip. The moment I read their text, I didn't just turn off my emotions. I opened my banking and airline apps. I canceled their 5 first-class return flights from Miami. I canceled the week-long luxury Airbnb they planned to stay in after the cruise. I instantly recouped over $8,500 in refunds. But I had already done something else they didn't expect. My family had secretly charged the cruise tickets to a joint credit card I opened for my mother years ago for medical emergencies. They assumed I wouldn't notice until after I graduated and started making a doctor's salary. I didn't just cancel their flights. I reported the card stolen, flagged the massive cruise charges as fraudulent, and permanently closed the account. By the time she opened my package, the cruise line had already frozen their boarding passes. They were standing at the port terminal, completely stranded with no flights, no hotel, and zero access to my money. In the package I sent, tucked right behind the photo of those empty seats, was a single printed piece of paper. It was the cancellation confirmation for everything. At the bottom, I had written one simple sentence. "Since you'd rather be somewhere worth celebrating, I figured you wouldn't mind staying there." I listened to her voicemail one last time, feeling absolutely nothing. I deleted the message. I permanently blocked all of their numbers. I packed my bags for my surgical residency in Seattle, 3,000 miles away. They wanted me to stop pretending to be a doctor, so I stopped pretending to be their son.